Hey, my name is Chris, and I've been working professionally in computer-aided design for 5 years. I'm still always learning new things, and I've probably got a long career ahead of me still, but I just wanted to share a little bit about the experience I've had with CAD. I chose to pursue CAD personally because I just like building things. I love being able to use tools to create something tangible and cool. I was already familiar with using media tools like Final Cut Pro, Logic Pro, Adobe Flash, After Effects, etc. So learning CAD seemed like a natural choice when trying to find something that would provide me with a long-term stable career. Chances are you have your own reasons for pursuing CAD, but there are two main reasons I can think of that would be applicable to everyone. One, there is a low barrier to entry, and two, there are good salaries. CAD is almost exclusively associated with A&E, architecture and engineering. I found myself receiving salaries comparable to engineers, but I don't need a 4-year degree, and I have a fraction of the student debt. The trade-off is there are always more engineering jobs available than there are just straightforward CAD jobs. Now, how to get started? Personally, I have an associate's degree in computer-aided design. I went to a very good local community college, but in addition to learning how to use the various CAD tools in class, I chose to learn about the tools through online courses, really just free videos on YouTube, and then paying a little bit of money for courses on Udemy. While attending college, I took every relevant extracurricular opportunity I could. I was always the first to volunteer. The college would take on renovations, they would work closely with local companies, and the need for CAD work would arise. I always took on that work, and soon enough, I was the primary guide the professors would recommend. Once I had a little bit of a portfolio for myself, I started hunting for companies that I could learn from. I went to a job search website and looked for companies that were hiring in CAD and engineering work. And I obviously wouldn't apply for those jobs. I was nowhere near qualified at the time, but it was a way for me to find companies that did the kind of thing I eventually wanted to do. So I emailed these companies and explained that I'm a student and I'd like to stop by your office and just kind of get a feel for how they use CAD in their work environment. Soon enough, one of the companies emailed me back and invited me to their office for about an hour. It was a small structural engineering firm, and I got to meet their architect and learn a little bit about how they used CAD in their workflow. And before I left that day, the CEO of the company actually invited me into his office and asked if I wanted to intern there. So I did. I interned there for a semester, and I got paid a little bit of money too. By the time I was nearing graduation, I had 2 job offers available to me, so I took the highest paying one. And I've moved on to different companies since then, but now I'm with a company I'll probably be with for a very long time. So the brick and mortar of this all, what do you need to learn? Simply put, AutoCAD is still the industry standard. It's the software I personally use every day. If you're looking into being a full stack designer, personally, I'd start with AutoCAD. Even if you don't use AutoCAD in the long term, it will help you get acquainted with how these kinds of tools work. I'd start with just plain old AutoCAD before diving into the other additions such as architectural or MEP, civil, etc. Now, if you want to work in mechanical, manufacturing, CNC, that kind of thing, I'd recommend learning SolidWorks and Autodesk's Inventor. Those are probably the 2 most common tools you'll see in that kind of industry. For architecture, you'll typically need to know AutoCAD Architecture Edition for smaller projects like house renovations and things like that. For larger things like commercial construction and large buildings, you'll probably be using something like Revit, and you will definitely be working in a BIM environment. That means Building Information Modeling. It's basically like creating a 3D model of the building you're working on, but every element of that building has all the necessary information associated with it. So there's info for the walls, the structure, the plumbing, the piping, literally everything. It helps the design process, it helps the construction process, it helps you create prints, it helps with scheduling, it helps with ordering parts, and you can actually use that same 3D model for rendering out images to show your clients and the public, whoever. Fun stuff. So I hope that helped you get a basic understanding for what working in CAD could be like for you. And I definitely plan on making more in-depth videos that go into specific industries and types of work and roles. And please stay tuned for that. Thanks.